Yes
Mic
po,
test.
sir.
Oo. Good evening, everyone. Right now, I'm just checking my camera. Wait. Is my camera okay? Can you see me? Hello?
Yes po,
Yes
sir.
po, sir.
Right. No? So, good evening, everyone. No? So, apologies, no? We did not meet for the past few weeks, no? So, technically, I'm really busy. But then again, we need to continue the topics, no? Can I see the reporters? Can you open your cam? Yan. I will just pin you guys. No? Wait. So, apat lang ba kayo? Apat lang? Ay, hindi, wait. Lima pala.
6 po, sir.
Anim. Alright.
Apa, apa.
Wait lang. I will update the sa ano. Si Charles, si Yasmin, si Johnson, nasaan pa yung iba? Ayan, si Gabriel. Gabriel. Ano pa ba? Si, si Shane, no? Shane. And si Paul. Stress na ako guys. Ang dami kong backlog na, na topics eh. Kita. Basay. Bro, basay ba't hindi kita makita sa ano? Sa Excel file? Late enrollees ka ba, bro?
Opo, sir. Parang late October na po ata ako nakapasok.
Okay. No, so I will just update no the Basay all. So sobrang busy ko talaga no. I cannot really give my 100% no during this semester, no. It's just like the original plan is to have 5 exams, no, but upon checking, no, since we don't really have no a tight schedule, so parang tatlo na lang yung magiging exam nyo. No, wait, I will just check, no, I will just check. So tama, magiging tatlo na lang, no. So exam 1 topic 1 to 3, then exam 2 topic 4 to 6. I think no, I'm just thinking guys, no, since uh I just want to what do you call this? Shorten no that the exam topics. No, what do you think? No, since uh synchronous motor kasi is redundant for power factor correction. So parang isa na lang siya, no. Well, technically because half of the questions for the power factor corrections are synchronous motor, no. For the induction motor and transmission lines is kind of overlapping for the next subjects, no, for the next term. So that's why maybe the exam will be three-phase hanggang transformer na lang. Then I'm just ano lang, no, thinking lang, no. Just to ease lang yung scope ng exam because one exam for topic 1 to 3, no, is really difficult, no. It's just like, you are handling three different topics for one exam. So parang ganun yung idea ko. So I will just talk na lang na sa ano ko, guys, no. But I think parang hindi ko na isasama yung induction motors and transmission lines for the exam. Kasi parang redundant na kasi siya, eh. No? But still, no, we need to study these topics, no. And ano pa ba? Ayun lang naman kasi parang nag-overlap na siya and parang sumobra ako sa dagdag ng topics. Actually, I've just added yung alternator, transformer, induction motors, and synchronous motor, especially na yung simple power system sa dulo, no? Just like to show you, no, on how we solve the higher A subjects using per phase analysis. But I think, no, for the alternators and transformers, no, we are already using the per phase analysis. So parang overkill na masyado yung topics. Alright, no? So tonight we will be discussing transformer, guys. So the idea, no, way back is that I've already told you that alternators, no, AC generator yon, transformer, induction motors, no, those three, guys, you will encounter them, no, in the industry, no, most of the time. So especially kapag may planta ka, laging may alternators yun. Sure, transformers and induction motors, no. So tonight we will be discussing transformers, and the idea for this equipment is that we need to transform, no, the value of the voltage, from higher to lower, no, or lower to higher, no. It really depends on the application. But since, no, in the plant, no, some of the equipment are working on 440 volts, some of the equipments are working on 220 volts, no. So for that, we need transformers. So later on, I will discuss to you kasi every apparatuses, guys, and every equipment, they have their own circuit diagram. And as you can see for the alternator, no, the circuit diagram is really, really simple. Unlike this for transformer, no. But the idea is that, no, with regards to the three equipment, no, the transformer has no moving parts. So technically, transformers are really stationary lang. Unlike nung induction motor, 'di ba, and alternator, they have rotating parts. So yun naman yung maganda kay transformer, no. So we don't have to compute for the torque, no, since we don't have moving parts, no, or rotating bodies. All right. So maybe we can start na, no, yung presentations.
So,
Oo.
good evening, good evening, everyone. We are Group 6. Tonight, we will be discussing one of the most important inventions in electrical engineering, which is transformers. So, before we proceed to our main topic, let me introduce my group reporters. So, first is John Silagi, Yasmin Lagman, me and Shane Lorejas, Charles Magpantay, Gabriela Panti, and Paul Adrian Bisay. So,
Good evening, guys. Good evening.
next slide. So, what is transformer? A transformer is an electrical device that moves electrical energy from one circuit to another using the principle of electromagnetic induction. So, it means hindi niya kailangan ng direct physical connection. between the circuits kasi yung magnetic field na ang nagiging paraan ng paglipat ng energy. So, the main job of transformer is baguhin ang voltage level. It's either step up kung kailangan pataasin ang voltage para sa long distance transmission or step down kung kailangan pababain ang voltage para maging safe gamitin sa bahay at appliances. And isa sa pinaka-interesting na bagay sa transformer ay wala itong moving parts, unlike motors or generators na umiikot. Ang transformer ay parang silent worker, tahimik, walang friction at sobrang efficient. Dahil dito, napaka-reliable at long-lasting nitong device. So, transformers are used everywhere, like sa power transmission, para may padala ang electricity ng malayo without losing too much energy. Sa distribution, para gawing safe ang voltage na gagamitin bago pumasok ito sa ating mga bahay. Lastly, sa electronic devices, tulad ng chargers, TV, and power adapters, para ma-convert ang high voltage papuntang low voltage na safe sa ating gadgets. So, in short, transformer is a key device na tumutulong para maging stable, safe, and efficient ang pagdaloy ng kuryente mula sa power plant hanggang sa ating mga appliances and devices. Next slide po. Now, let's proceed to the history of transformers. Next. First is the electromagnetic induction. In 1831, Michael Faraday made one of the most important discoveries in the history of electrical engineering, and it is the electromagnetic induction. At ito ang principles na ginagamit ng lahat ng transformer sa ngayon. So, sa experiment niya, gumamit siya ng 2 coils na nakabalot sa isang iron ring. Simple lang ang setup pero groundbreaking ang naging resulta ng experiment niya. Nung binuksan at sinara niya yung switch sa unang coil, napansin niya na may biglang current na lumalabas sa second coil kahit hindi sila electrically connected. Dito niya napatunayan na ang changing magnetic field sa primary coil ay pwedeng mag-create ng induced current sa secondary coil. So, changing kasi kung steady lang ang magnetic field, walang current na lalabas. At ito ang tinawag niyang mutual induction. Kung saan, ang pagbabago ng magnetic field sa isang coil ay direktang nakaka-apekto sa ibang coil. At itong principle na ito ang naging pinakapundasyon ng mga modern transformer na ginagamit natin ngayon. So, kung walang discovery ni Faraday, hindi natin maintindihan kung paano nag-navigate ang magnetic fields para mag-transfer ng energy between coils. Kaya, masasabi natin na ang buong electrical power system mula sa power plants hanggang sa phone chargers ay nakaayon sa ginawa niyang experiment. Next slide.
Correct, no? To add with that, guys, no? For the alternators, no? Transformer, induction motor, no? They are all based from Faraday's law. So as you can see, for the formula of induced voltage, so technically they are just very similar, no, to each other. So the formula will be 4.44, no, frequency, flux, then number of turns. So for the alternator, we just add the pitch factor, the distribution factor, but the bottom line is they are just similar, no, in terms of the induced voltage formula, no. So that's really correct, no. So that's the Faraday's law is really powerful, guys, no. So we use it in our daily lives, no. So technically, most of the big projects, no, big applications we have today are based from Faraday's law. Please continue, bro.
Thank you po. So next is secondary generator. In 1882, Lucien Gollard from France and John Dixon Gibbs from England created one of the earliest working version of a transformer. Their device is considered a major step forward because it introduced the basic idea of transferring electrical energy between two coils, which is the core principle of modern transformer, and they call it a secondary generator. Even though it didn't generate electricity, it transferred energy from one coil to another. The early transformer was used in public lighting systems in Europe, especially in London and Italy. Ito ang unang pagkakataon na ginamit ang transformer sa electricity distribution sa mga syudad, and its operation proved that alternating current was practical for long-distance power transmission, which was a major advantage over DC systems. However, their model used an open iron core, meaning the magnetic path was not completely enclosed. Because of that, marami ang magnetic field or energy ang nasasayang, leading to higher losses and lower efficiency. In short, gumagana siya pero hindi siya sobrang efficient. Even with these weaknesses, their inventions paved the way for improved transformer designs. Their work directly inspired later engineers, especially William Stanley, to build the closed-core transformer, which became the modern standard. Next. So, dito na papasok yung naging improvement sa gawa nila Gollard and Gibbs. In 1885, William Stanley became one of the most important figures in the development of transformer. Even though Gollard and Gibbs introduced the basic idea, it was Stanley who turned the transformer into something truly practical and ready for real use in electrical power system. Stanley was engineer working for George Westinghouse, the businessman who believed that AC power would one day replace DC. So Westinghouse saw Gollard and Gibbs' design, but he knew it was still too weak and efficient for citywide power. Kaya inassign niya si Stanley to study, improve, and redesign the transformer from the ground up. So Stanley carefully examined the old secondary generator, and he found the main problem, which is the open iron core that allowed a lot of magnetic energy to leak out, resulting in high losses and unstable voltage. So, in 1885, Stanley redesigned the entire device and introduced the closed laminated iron core. So, closed core means the magnetic path is complete, so almost energy escapes. And laminated core means the iron core is made of many thin sheets that reduce unwanted edgy currents. So, these improvements made the transformer much more efficient, more stable, and cheaper to operate. Because of this new design, Stanley succeeded in creating the first commercial transformer, not just an experiment, but a device that could be mass-produced for real electrical networks. So, next slide. So, let's proceed to the 20th century transformer advancement. The 20th century brought major advancements in transformer technology, making them more efficient, reliable, and widely used across power systems and everyday application. So, in the early 1900s, engineers began using laminated silicon steel cores. Silicon steel has exceptional magnetic properties. It reduces high hysteresis loss. Ibig sabihin, may konting enerhiyang nasasayang tuwing nagbabago ang magnetic field. When the core lamination are thinner and insulated from each other, edgy currents are minimized. These edgy currents are tiny circulating currents inside the core that cause heat and waste energy. By laminating the core, engineers prevented these currents from forming large loops. So, practically speaking, this change made transformer become more efficient, cooler, longer lasting, and capable of handling higher power levels. So in between 1910s and 1930s, oil immersed transformer became standard. The oil served as both coolant and insulation, preventing overheating and extending the life of the transformer. Also in this time, protective devices like the Buchholz relay were introduced, and it is a gas detection protection device. Whenever a minor internal fault happens, it creates gas bubbles in the oil, and the relay detects this and sends a warning before a major failure can occur. Next. From the 1940s to the 1960s, electrical demand expanded globally. This led to the development of high voltage power, enabling the establishment of interconnected national and regional power grids. With these advancements, electricity could be transmitted over long distances with minimal losses. So sa panahon nito, dumadami rin ang distribution transformers. At ito yung mga nakikita natin parang drum sa poste. And their job is to step down high voltage para safe gamitin sa bahay, schools, at commercial areas. So, this period is when electricity became truly accessible to millions of people. Sa kabilang banda, lumawak din ang installation ng distribution transformer, which made electrical power more accessible to residential, commercial, and rural communities. At the same time, engineers introduced instrument transformers like current transformers and potential transformers. So, bakit kailangan ito? Kasi hindi natin pwedeng i-connect directly ang measuring equipment sa 69 kilovolts or higher kilovolts. So, ang current transformers and potential transformers ay nag-a-act like translators. They convert extremely high values to smaller and manageable values. Dahil dito, nagiging safe ang metering, monitoring, and protection ng power system. So, moving forward to the 1970s hanggang early 20s. Advances in insulation technology came in. Better paper, better oil processing, varnishes, resins, and polymer materials. This made transformers more resistant to moisture, heat, and aging. Kumbaga, mas tumibay sila at mas umabot ng 30 to 50 years ang lifespan. Another major revolution was the arrival of computer-aided design. Before computers, engineers used manual calculation and simplified assumption, pero with finite element analysis. Kaya nang ma-model ang magnetic fields, heat flow, vibration, and stresses. So, modern transformers became more compact, more accurate sa design, and more optimized sa efficiency. Finally, the 21st century, the rise of smart transformers and solid-state transformers. And these transformers mark the transition to modern intelligent power system. Smart transformers incorporate advanced sensors, monitoring system, and communication technologies. These capabilities enable real-time condition assessment, automated voltage regulation, and integration with smart grids. Meanwhile, solid-state transformers are even more advanced. Instead of using iron cores and copper winding alone, they use power electronics, semiconductor devices, and high-frequency conversion. Also, they are lighter, more controllable, and ideal for renewable energy integration, electric vehicle charging, microgrids, and voltage regulation. So, in conclusion, the transformer is truly one of the most important inventions in the history of electrical engineering. Mula sa simpleng discovery ni Michael Faraday hanggang sa modern smart transformer ay nagkaroon ng development at nagbigay ito ng daan para maging safe, efficient, at reliable ang delivery ng electricity sa buong mundo. So, that's all for history of transformers. And now, here's Charles Magpantay to discuss the transformer parts and components. Thank you.
So, thank you, Mr. Shane. So, here are the parts and components naman of three-phase and single-phase transformer. Mostly yung mga components and parts niya, same lang naman. Yung pagkakaiba lang talaga nila is yung single-phase transformer, gumagamit lang siya ng isang AC supply at may isang primary at secondary winding. So, madalas ito sa bahay kasi simple at mura pero hindi siya efficient sa malalaking load. While sa three-phase transformer naman, gumagamit siya ng tatlong AC supply and pwede din siyang gawin sa tatlong single-phase transformer. So, madalas siya gamitin sa industries at power distribution kasi efficient sa malalaking load pero medyo pricey and mas complex siya kaysa sa single-phase. So, unahin natin yung important components ng three-phase and single-phase. So, first is the core. So, the core is a basic part of a transformer which refers to the magnetic core around which the primary and secondary windings are wound. The core guides the magnetic flux and improves the efficiency of the transformer. So yung transformer daw po ay nag-act as tulay or bridge na nagdadala ng magnetic energy from the primary coil to the secondary coil with minimal loss, which is a big help for the transformer to work efficiently. Second is the windings, and there's two type of windings, which is yung primary and secondary. So yung primary winding is a coil na nagre-receive ng electricity from the power source. When current flows through it, it creates a changing magnetic field in the transformer's core. Meaning kapag dumalo yung AC, which keeps the direction of current keeps changing, therefore, it creates a changing magnetic field sa loob ng core. So it pushes electrical energy into the secondary coil, causing a voltage to appear there na tinatawag naman nating electromagnetic induction. So for secondary windings naman, the secondary winding is the coil in a transformer that receives energy from the magnetic field created by the primary winding, which is yung sinasabi natin kanina. Yung secondary windings din yung nagde-deliver ng transform voltage to the output, meaning siya yung part ng transformer that outputs the new voltage either higher or lower voltage and supplies it to where it's needed. Excuse me. So third is insulation. So insulation materials are used in both transformers to electrically isolate the windings from each other and form the core. So meaning siya yung nagpe-prevent for our windings to make electrical error and to make sure na safe yung pag-ooperate sa windings natin. Fourth is cooling system or cooling tubes. So from the word itself, common sense naman siya. This part is to make sure na mape-prevent natin yung overheating. Fifth is conservator tank. So it is a small tank placed on top of a transformer that holds extra insulating oil. So when a transformer gets hot, the oil expands and moves to our conservator tank. And when it cools down naman po, the oil goes back into the main tank. So it's like a storage tank that lets the transformer's oil breathe. So nakakatulong siya to keep our oil level steady and also to protect the transformer from damage na sanhi ng pagbabago-bago ng temperature. Sixth is oil tank. So oil tanks are present in both transformers to serve as a cooling and insulation medium, enhancing overall transformer performance and safety. So ito din yung nag-i-store ng transformer oil, which ang trabaho naman ng transformer oil is to make sure na our transformer is cool and safe from electrical faults. So for other parts and components naman ng three-phase and single-phase transformer, explain ko na lang siya briefly. So basically, same lang yung parts nung dalawa or yung three-phase and single-phase, pero iba lang yung tawag, pero same lang din yung function niya. So first is main tank or transformer tank. Siya yung main container ng transformer na nag-hold sa core, windings, at oil. Meaning siya yung katawan ng transformer na nagpoprotekta at suporta sa internal parts ng ating transformer. Next is bushing. So dito dumadaan yung electrical currents papasok at palabas ng mismong transformer. And there's two types of bushing. So first is high voltage bushing. So basically a bushing that carries high voltage electricity in and out sa ating transformer. So meron din tayong low voltage bushing. So same lang siya, pero low voltage electricity naman yung nag-i-in and out. Next is tap changer. So it is a device that adjusts the transformer output voltage. So pwedeng baguhin yung output voltage habang naka-on or nag-ooperate yung transformer. Next is oil level indicator or tank gauge. So basically yung oil level indicator is para makita yung kung sapat pa yung oil sa loob ng transformer. Next is pressure relief valve. So ito naman yung safety feature na naglalabas ng excess pressure para ma-prevent din yung damage sa ating transformer. Next is Buchholz relay. So isa rin itong protective device na nagde-detect ng gas formation kapag may internal fault sa transformer. Next is drain off valve. So ito naman yung pang-drain ng oil sa transformer and mostly for maintenance siya ginagamit kapag hindi palitan yung oil. Lastly, yung rating plate, which is dito nakalagay yung mga important information like voltage, current, and power rating ng transformer. So that's the end of the parts and components ng transformer. So for ideal transformer naman, Yasmin Lagman is here to discuss it for you. Thank you.
Ayan. So, thank you, Charles. So, as mentioned by Shane and Charles rin naman na we have seen different advancements ng ating transformers at yung mga specific differences ng ating transformers na meron tayo ngayon. Pero to explain more further, let us give a brief background kung paano nga ba or yung working principle. Kasi you might be wondering, ba't parang paulit-ulit na yung primary coil or secondary windings? Paano nga ba sa EMF and such principles ng ating transformer? So starting with that, transformer works because the current in the primary coil is alternating. So since AC siya, nagbabago-bago ang current. So from its producing ng changing magnetic field sa primary coil, doon napupunta or rather there's a transfer sa secondary coil, thus connected through the soft iron core. Dahil dito, nagbabago yung magnetic flux sa secondary coil. At kapag may nabago, nagkakaroon ng induced EMF sa secondary coil. Here in play, technically explains a very simple working principle ng transformer but will be discussed later on. So with the construction of a transformer, of course, we have a typical transformer is made of a rectangular soft iron core, usually in thin laminated sheets, which I believe nabanggit kanina ni Shane, na insulated from each other. So with the two insulated coils of wire, we have the primary coil and secondary coil, with primary coil as the input side and the secondary coil as the output side. So these coils are not connected electrically, pero magnetically linked through the iron core. So both coils are very well insulated with a wound around the same core para effective ang transferring of the magnetic flux. So with a basing of the principle nga ng ating transformer is from the electromagnetic mutual induction. So with the AC current primary coil, nag-act ito bilang electromagnetic. Thus, the magnetic field lines mula sa primary ay dumadaan sa core at umaabot sa ating secondary, which I've mentioned earlier. So dahil nga exposed ang secondary coil sa changing magnetic flux natin, nagkakaroon ng induced EMF again with our output sa secondary. So we have here our formula denoted with the Vs as our secondary voltage, is equivalent to the number of turns in the secondary winding multiplied by the rate of change of magnetic flux. So, all in all, the mas maraming turns is equivalent sa mas maraming induced voltage na meron tayo. So, with this brief description of the working principle, let's further look for with what is a ideal transformer or concept of the ideal transformer natin. Next po. Ayan. So, what is an ideal transformer? As we all know, there are concepts, or rather, we have ideals and realistically sides of our transformer. So, with our ideal transformer, technically, ito yung transformer na walang loss. Okay? So, with this is a lossless device. So, in theory, walang nawawala or walang losses. So, perfect ang performance niya bilang isang transformer. So, meron itong input winding na tinatawag na primary and output winding. I've mentioned earlier, given rin dito sa ating picture here. So, ano nga ba yung properties ng isang ideal transformer? Number one, of course, is yung no iron and copper losses, and then no leakage flux. So, ano nga ba yung mga yun? Walang nawawalang energy sa core, walang resistance loss sa windings. Lahat ng flux na gagawa ng primary ay lahat na pupunta sa secondary at walang nasasaya. Infinite magnetic permeability, perfect yung core, kaya napakadaling dumaloy ng magnetic flux natin. Infinite electrical resistivity at walang current na dumadaloy sa core, thus walang heat and walang loss. So flux is confined to the core, and then winding resistances ay negligible. Meaning ba ang zero yung resistance ng wires natin. So with the governing principles, the behavior of an ideal transformer ay based on our turns ratio. So we're given with our ratio of number on primary at secondary windings, we have the voltage ratio and the current ratio. So here are the formulas. We can see that the voltage ratio is directly proportional with our number of turns, while our current ratio naman is inversely proportional. So kung mas mataas ang voltage, syempre, ayun, sa secondary, mas mababa naman ang current here in our current ratio. And then proceeding with our conservation of power, in our ideal transformer, power in is equivalent to our power out. So deriving lang rin, VP multiplied by IP is equivalent to the, of course, VS multiplied by IS. So all in all, walang nasasayang na power sa ating ideal transformer. So next po. Ayan. So with our transformer losses, ito na yung realistically speaking. So technically, kanina ako nabanggit ko na perfect yung performance ng isang ideal transformer. So in the realistic or rather yung meron tayong transformer na madalas natin gamitin, wala talagang perfect na transformer. That's why no transformer is 100% efficient. Ayan. So with these two categories, saan nga ba yung loss ng isang transformer? Ang una dito ay yung core iron losses. These are yung losses na nangyayari kahit wala pang load. So kaya tinatawag rin itong core no load losses. So dalawa ang components rin dito. First here is the hysteresis loss. Ito yung energy na nawawala paulit-ulit kapag binamagnetize at dinidemagnetize yung core. And the eddy current loss. This is the change or yung pagbabago natin ng magnetic flux. Thus, yung circulating currents na nabubuo sa core, ito yung nag-generate ng heat natin. That's why we have the loss of our transformer performance. So, second here is yung copper load losses, also denoted by the I squared R multiplied by R losses na galing sa resistance ng windings natin. Kasama dito yung primary and secondary copper losses, tumataas yung loss na ito, specifically rin sa during the load current increases. So pagkadami rin ng load natin, meaning the more load you supply, the more heat is produced. So all in all, the ideal transformer is perfect in our concept and theory, but we will still be able to use it later on in our computations. But in reality, transformer losses ay madalas maapektuhan ng ating core losses and copper losses. So proceeding more with our working principles, we have Mr. Paul to explain more.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Yasmin. So today, I will be reporting one of the working principle of transformer, which is EMF induction or induced EMF. So next slide, please. Applying alternating supply voltage to the primary winding. So kapag nag-apply tayo ng alternating voltage sa primary winding ng transformer, nagkakaroon ng alternating current or AC na dumadaloy sa coil. Since AC yung supply, hindi to steady, di ba? Pa-change siya ng direction and magnitude all the time. Dahil dito, yung current sa primary coil ay nagpo-produce siya ng alternating magnetic field. Ito yung starting point ng operation ng transformer. So, bale una, AC supply muna, then AC current, then after that, magkakaroon tayo ng alternating magnetic field. Next is producing magnetic flux in the core. So, yung alternating magnetic field na napoproduce ng primary winding ay nage-generate ng alternating magnetic flux sa transformer core. Yung core, usually laminated steel siya, nagsisilbi siyang pathway ng magnetic flux. Habang nagbabago yung current sa primary, sabay ding nagbabago yung flux inside the core. So dito, yung core ang nagiging main channel ng flux papunta sa secondary winding. Next is magnetic flux linking in the secondary coil. So yung flux na nag-exist sa core, hindi lang para sa primary. Since parehong nakamount sa isang core ang primary at secondary windings, yung changing magnetic flux ay nalilink din sa secondary coil. Ibig sabihin, kung ano man yung nangyayaring pagbabago sa flux sa primary side, nararamdaman din to nung secondary. So ito yung tinatawag natin na mutual flux linkage. Next naman yung electromagnetic induction or Faraday's law. So dahil sa mutual flux linking, napapasok ngayon yung Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So sabi ni Faraday, kapag may changing magnetic flux na dumaan sa isang coil, automatic magkakaroon ng induced EMF sa coil na yan. So since alternating ang flux sa transformer, tuloy-tuloy din ang pag-produce ng EMF sa secondary winding. Ito yung reason kung bakit nakaka-transfer ng energy ang transformer kahit walang electrical connection between primary and secondary. Next naman, yung EMF induced in both primary and secondary coils. Hindi lang sa secondary may induced EMF. Meron din sa primary winding. Pero yung sa primary kasi, opposite direction siya ng applied voltage. Kaya tawag sa kanya ay back EMF. Ito yung nagre-regulate ng current sa primary coil. Samantalang yung EMF sa secondary ang nagiging output voltage. At yung value nito nakadepende sa number of turns ng windings. More turns means higher induced voltage. Fewer turns means lower voltage. Kaya may step up and step down transformer as stated earlier ni Shane. So lastly, sa no electrical connection, so generally both primary and secondary windings are wound on separate limbs or on a common limb but are electrically insulated from each other. Therefore, wala talagang direktang electrical connections between them. They are electrically isolated. Yung core yung nag-act as a common magnetic medium between the two windings. So, dako naman tayo sa EMF equations ng isang transformer. So, next slide please. Okay, so dako natin yung attention muna natin dun sa assumption. So, assumption, sinusoidal magnetic flux in core. So, una, na-assume natin na magnetic flux per turn sa core ay sinusoidal. So, ine-express natin to bilang phi sub t equals phi sub max sin omega t. Kung saan yung phi sub max, yun yung maximum flux in Weber. And yung omega is equal to 2 pi f, which is yun yung angular frequency in rad per seconds. Ito yung basic assumption lang kasi karamihan ng practical AC supply ay sinusoidal. Next, tingnan naman tayo dito sa Faraday's law ng instantaneous induced EMF. So, gamit ang Faraday's law, ang instantaneous EMF na induce sa isang coil ng N turns ay ET equals negative N times d phi t over dt. Na pag differentiate natin yung flux ay magiging d phi over dt equals phi sub max cosine omega t. Kaya magiging ET equals negative N phi sub max omega cosine t. Yung negative sign ay nagpapakita ng Lenz's law, yung direction ng induced EMF kontra dun sa pagbabago ng flux. Next naman yung peak or maximum value ng EMF. So, ang peak EMF or E sub max ay nangyayari kapag ang cosine omega t ay equals to positive negative 1. Kaya ang equation dito ay E sub max equals N phi sub max omega. Alam naman natin na yung omega or yung W, kung nakikita natin, yung maliit na W dyan, ay equal siya sa 2 pi f. Kaya yung kakalabasan ng equation ay E sub max equals to 2 pi f N phi max. Ito yung instantaneous peak value ng induced EMF sa coil na may N turns. So, doon naman tayo sa convert to RMS. Convert peak to RMS. So, sa electrical practice, karaniwang ginagamit yung RMS value ng voltage. Kaya i-convert natin. Para sa sinusoid, ito yung E sub RMS equals 2 pi f N phi sub max over square root of 2. Ngayon, kung pagsasamahin natin yung dalawang constant na 2 pi over square root ng 2, kakalabasan nito ay 4.44. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng pinakasikat na forma ng EMF equation, which is itong E equals to 4.44 F N phi sub max. Yung E, yung RMS induced EMF sa windings in volts, F naman frequency in hertz, N ay yung number of turns, and yung phi sub max ay yung maximum flux in Weber. So lastly, itong ideal condition. Yung itong formula ay para sa ideal condition siya, which is yung the sinusoidal flux, negligible losses. So as stated earlier, ito yung core losses, winding resistance, and leakage flux na ine-neglect natin. Kung gagamitin ng flux density B sub max at core cross-sectional area na A sub I, pwede natin isulat bilang phi sub max equals B sub max times A sub I. Dahil dito makukuha natin yung formula na E equals to 4.44 F N B sub max A sub I. Helpful to sa pag-calculate na required number of turns para sa isang given core size at desired voltage. Now, let us proceed naman po sa next reporter na si Gab na he will tackle voltage regulation as part of the working principle of a transformer. Thank you.
Bro, sige. Just to cut lang guys, no. Are you familiar with flux density ba? Na-tackle nyo na ba yun? Yung flux density, yung B? Na-tackle nyo na ba siya sa, what do you call this subject? Electromagnetics? EMAGs? Ayan, no. Sige. I'm just confirming guys, no. Sige, just continue.
Thank you. Okay. Next slide na po. So for this slide, we're talking about the transformer voltage regulation. Basically, voltage regulation tells us how stable yung secondary voltage kapag nagbabago yung load. In the ideal transformer, dapat same pa rin yung voltage kahit may load or wala. Pero in real life, hindi ganun. Meron kasing winding resistance, leakage reactance, at core losses kaya bumababa yung secondary voltage kapag may load na. So here, we can use the main formula for voltage regulation, which is percent regulation equals no load minus full load over full load multiplied by 100%. This formula shows kung gaano kalaki yung voltage drop from no load to full load. So, ayun nga, the bigger the percentage, the poorer yung regulation. Mas maliit, mas maganda. Next po. Now for this slide. Sa slide na to, ina-explain kung bakit kailangan mangyari yung voltage regulation. So when the transformer is loaded, dumadalo yung current sa windings, and since may equivalent resistance and leakage reactance nga talaga yung transformer, nagkakaroon ng internal voltage drop. So dahil dito, bumababa yung secondary voltage under load. We also have more detailed regulation formula that includes the load current and the power factor, and andyan nga sa PPT ngayon. Gagamitin ng plus kapag lagging, minus naman kapag leading. This formula shows na ang both resistance at reactance will nagko-contribute siya sa voltage drop, and na ang transformer's regulation nakadepende rin siya sa power factor ng load. So in short, voltage regulation happens because of the internal impedance of the transformer and how the load affects the current inside. That's all for my part. Mr. Lagi will continue.
Alright, no, for this formula for the voltage regulation, guys, no, that formula is really complicated, no. So for the simple formula, we have the voltage no load minus voltage full load all over voltage full load. So that's the very easiest formula, no, that we have. So as you can see, no, if we check what is the REQ, no, so XEQ, then may plus minus pa, diba? I really don't know if you can really absorb this formula, no. But the formula is correct, guys. But I really don't want you guys to use this because this is really complicated, no? So, ayun lang. Sige guys, continue.
Ayan, buhay po ba lahat? So once again, good evening everyone. I hope you can still bear with us along with this reporting, and wag kayong mag-alala, last part na to. So on the last part of the reporting, we will now dive into the efficiency of a transformer. So as we all know, when we create a product or a material, especially in a machine system, we always tackle about efficiency, because efficiency plays a vital role in identifying if the material itself produces the maximum percentage as it can be. Very important yan sa development pa lang ng mga materials. Kagaya ng kanina, tinakil natin yung history ng transformers, meron tayong transitions ng every parts, every materials, and kung paano siya nako-compose as a whole. Kasi ang efficiency, yun yung nagiging basis ng lahat. Kung paano natin masusukat or paano natin malalaman if magiging akma ba yung isang material sa ating pangangailangan in terms of setting, in reality setting. Kasi yung mga machines naman na yon is was made for us to consume it. Especially transformers na primarily na ginagamit natin siya in commercial, energy transmission. So, yon. Yung efficiency, um, hindi siya tinatake lang here sa transformers. Usually sa lahat ng components or lahat sa mga materials. Kaya kagaya kanina, sa lahat ng mga pumunta sa conventions, kung nakikita nyo lahat ng mga gawa ng mga companies, mga transformers, ng mga unique products nila is dun sa may mga papers sila na pinapakita na yung percentage kung gaano ka-efficient tong isang material and whatsoever. So, moving on, yung pinaka-formula ng efficiency is equals lang sa P out or P output over P input na ayun yung naging basis ng lahat ng formula. Moving on, which is the maximum efficiency of a transformer. Yung maximum efficiency is maa-achieve lang yon kapag yung copper loss and iron loss is equal. Pero kanina, diniscuss ni Yasmin na yung copper and iron loss is bihira or as much as possible hindi mag-a-achieve as one. Pero ginagamit kasi siya in terms of computation sa theoretical na ideally pwede natin siya ma-solve. And ayun yung nagiging basis ng mga designs ng mga transformer. Kasi sa pag nagke-create tayo ng products, ang goal natin is para ma-lessen yung mga losses. Kasi yung mga losses na yon is nagsisilbing hindrances sa pag-flow ng electricity. So, dito naman sa all-day efficiency of a transformer, from the words all day, sinusukat niya yung 24-hour span ng operating capacity ng isang transformer, which the formula equals W out over W out plus W core plus WCU, which means na yung power is with respect na kung gaano kung gaano katagal siya kinonsume. And focus tayo dito sa all-day efficiency. Ginagamit siya usually sa mga distribution transformers na nag-ooperate ng long hours at varying loads. Para maintindihan natin siya, mag-imagine tayo ng mga loads. Like for example, sa distribution companies, on a day-to-day basis, sa umaga, usually, yun yung mas malakas or yung mas mataas yung energy consumption natin. Kaya yung mga transformers, kailangan niyang mag-deliver or mag-produce ng full load capacity para in order for us to achieve or ma-distribute lahat ng mga pangangailangan natin. And sa tanghali, ganun din kasi usually nag-ooperate yung mga machines, nag-ooperate yung mga schools, nag-ooperate yung lahat. Meanwhile, sa gabi is dito mas nakakapahinga kasi minsan yung mga machines is hindi na masyadong ginagamit kasi lagpas na sa hours ng working process or whatsoever. Pero ang pinakamahalaga doon is masusukat natin siya in terms of a whole day. Kasi yung whole day na yon, nagva-vary yun kung gaano kalaki or gaano karami yung energy consumption natin. And yun yung madalas or usually ginagamit ng mga distribution utilities para malaman natin if nagiging akma ba or yung nagiging sapat yung distribution systems na meron tayo, especially here in the Philippines na parami-rami ng demands in terms of electricity and dumadami rin yung mga populations na nangangailangan ng electricity. So, dito sa all-day efficiency, ang usually naman ng mga losses is yung iron loss at copper losses. Kagaya kanina, sinasabi na yung iron loss is constant Kasi yung loss niya, once na-energize ang isang transformer, is constant lang naman or hindi siya nagbabari. Meanwhile, yung copper loss depends on the load capacity on a certain period of time. Nagbabari siya kasi yung copper loss with respect siya sa current. And yung formula ng current ay ng power in terms of voltage and current naka-squared siya. So katulad lang din sa copper losses kasi yun siya yung pinaka mismong dinadaanan ng kuryente. Nagbabari siya sa mga maximum loads, sa half loads. Kaya yun yung usual formulas or yun yung nagiging deciding factor para malaman natin yung highest efficiency in terms of full load, half load, and whatsoever. So, dun na natatapos yung tackle about efficiency. So, thank you sa lahat ng mga nakinig and I hope na lahat is naintindihan ng topic. Thank you.
Hello guys, no, it's my turn naman, no. So, way back guys, no, nasabi ko na ba sa inyo na I really want to drop yung yung history and pero I cannot really drop the history and the concept. Nasabi ko na ba yon last time? So, yun, no. Way back, for the board exam, I encounter yung this question, no. So, who is the, what do you call this? Inventor of the integrated circuit. Nasabi ko na ba yon? Nasabi ko na ata yun eh. I will share my slides naman, guys. So at the end of the day, guys, some of the questions here, no, for the history and the concept, you may encounter them in the board exam. So that's why I really cannot just drop them, no, with regards to the topics. So even though, guys, no, they are really boring, no, so I think you should absorb them, di ba? Because they are really important. You know. So I'm just gonna trim down no some of the problems here no for the exam no. So I will not be including all the efficiency and voltage regulation no. So we will be focusing on the induced voltage because at the end of the day no the role of the transformer is to transform voltage no to higher or lower values no of output voltage. Alright. I will discuss to you guys what's the importances of. Can you see my slide right now?
Yes po, sir.
Ayan, no? So, dyan lang kayo, reporter, okay, mag-off ng cam. Ayan. Dami natin backlog. So, ayun, no, I will just trim down, no, some problems here. So, we are just focusing on the induced voltage, no. So, this is from your books, guys, di ba? Sabi ko lang kay Gabriel, huwag mag-off ng cam, nag-off naman gagad ng cam. Right, of course, no, did you browse your book, di ba? So this is the very picture, no, of transformer in your book, no. So yun. So this we have the primary winding, so secondary winding. So technically, if we have winding, guys, it can translate, no, to a specific impedance, which have resistance and reactance respectively, no. So later on, the idea is that this is the front view of the transformer. We will convert it no into a specific circuit no. So that's why we can solve it by using circuits to lang or AC circuits to na solutions no. If we convert this figure no into the circuit no diagram, this is the picture no for the circuit diagram. I will just use laser pointer. So technically, this is our voltage, no voltage primary. So technically, this is our original voltage, no. So we will transform this voltage into the secondary voltage or the output voltage. So it's really depends on the turns ratio, just like the presenter said no earlier. No, if the turns ratio is a whole number, then we have a step down transformer. No, if we have a turns ratio with the decimal values, then we have a step up transformer. Now, as you can see, guys, no, I will explain to you guys, no, step by step, no, what's the part, no, of this circuit. As you can see here, we have the resistance primary and the reactance primary, no. So it came from the winding. As you can see, guys, no, in the previous topic, which is the alternator, as you can see, the windings of the alternator is converted, no, to the impedance, di ba? So the impedance does have resistance and reactance, no. So that's why we have here, no, yung RP and XP. Now, as you can see, guys, we have here the this parallel branch here, which is have, no, the XO and the RO, no. So this XO and RO came from the core, no. So this is really the core. If we translate, guys, going back to the figure, no, if we translate this core, no, into the circuit, no, so this is what it looks like, no. Yan. So yun yung XORO na yan, 'di ba? After that, it will go to the specific windings na. So ito na yung winding. So technically, no, the impedance of the winding, guys, you will encounter first the impedance of the winding, then the core, then the winding itself, no. So the winding itself, no, for the EP and ES, no, we call them induced primary and induced secondary. So meaning the transformation of voltage occurs here, no. So EP and ES. So that's why we called it E, because the word is induced, no. Even though the word started with I, no, so induce I, no, so that's like the very mnemonics, no, for this problem. Sorry, for this circuit. As you can see, guys, in terms of the circuit diagram, no, the circuit diagram for the transformers are really complicated. Why? Because first we have four values of voltage here. We have the voltage primary, the induced primary, the induced secondary, and the voltage secondary. Diba? We have four values of voltage here. And as you can see, the diagram is really chaotic. No? After we transform, no, the value of the voltage, no, so we will go to the value of ES, no, so the value of EP will convert to the value of ES, then it will go to the resistance secondary and reactance secondary. So it came from the secondary coil, no, of the transformer. So dito siya nanggaling. All right. So we translate the impedance of this coil, no, into a specific resistance secondary and reactance secondary. After that, it will go to the load. Did I explain it clearly? Yung transformation nung specific what do you call it? Specific equipment, no, which is transformer to its equivalent circuit diagram, no. Unlike yung sa previous kasi, 'di ba, we just have the source, then we have the impedance, then load na, no. So for the transformer, it's really complicated, guys. So what do you think is the kind of complicated part for this transformer, no? Transformer circuit diagram. Aside from the reporter, anyone can answer, no? I'm open for your suggestions, guys. What do you think is the kind of complicated part of this transformer diagram? Okay, no, I will just call somebody. Yung mga wala pang points technically. Si Raymond dyan. Ayan, are you here, Raymond? Yan.
Yes po, sir.
Oo. Bro, what do you think is the complicated part here in this circuit? I just want your insight, bro.
Sir, from ano po kasi sa actual na itsura po, mukhang simple lang siya. Wala po siyang other components bukod po sa windings and sa core. Unlike po dito sa diagram, meron po tayong resistance and reactance po.
Alright, and we are looking with a two circuit, correct? Tama ba?
Yes po, sir.
We're looking with the first circuit and the secondary circuit. So technically, this circuit diagram has two parts. No, so that's the answer. No, I just revealed the answer na guys. No, so that's the problem here, di ba? It is easier for us if we combine these two circuit, no, if into one circuit, just like we did for this one. Ayan, no. So as you can see, we eliminate no the picture of the windings itself. So in this case, we eliminate no. I will just encircle this one, because this is really the complicated part. No, it separates the circuit no uh into the first circuit and the second circuit, which is the primary and the secondary respectively. No, so if we eliminate that, guys, no, the idea is that we need to transfer the parameters no from the secondary to the primary, 'di ba? Just like we did this one, no? The resistance secondary and reactance secondary, no? We just need to transfer those parameters to the primary. And the BS, no, or the voltage secondary. We also need to transfer that, no, to the primary circuit, no, or the first circuit itself. If we transfer that, then the the exact equivalent circuit will be look like this. No? What do you think happens no to the transferred parameters? Ito guys, no, ZS, it is the combination of the resistance and the reactance. So this is RS plus J XS. So technically, this is the resistance secondary and reactance secondary. No, we just need to combine them. So that is impedance secondary. So this is the VS. So what do you think no happen no to the value to the equation of ZS and VS? Just look at the picture, no. Anyone can uh what happened no to the values of ZS and VS? Ano yung nagbago sa ano nila sa tagging nila? What happened to the tagging? Ayan, si Zambrona.
Nagkaroon po sir ng coefficient ng input.
Yes, correct, no? We have the coefficient of the transformation, sorry, the turns ratio, no? Since guys, no, the reporters mentioned earlier, no, for the ratio guys, 'di ba? It is directly proportional to the voltage and the square, no, of the impedances. So that's why for the impedance we have A square, no? And for the BS we have only A, no? So that's the explanation for that, no? Yun, no? So, we call this the transformer exact equivalent circuit diagram, no? So, as you can see, guys, for the transformer, we are encountering, no, so many, actually, I think five circuit diagrams for the transformer, no? So, that's why I'm thinking that, I will just trim down no the exam no, maybe I will not include the power system no and the induction motor anymore, but still no we need to study them no for the grade no of the reporters no. Ayun. With that guys no, with this circuit guys, it is still complicated. What do you think is the complicated part of this circuit no? Anyone no, anyone can share no their ideas no? What do you think is still no the complicated part of this circuit? I will call somebody na lang yung mga wala pang points. Uh, wala pang po. Si Jen, no? Mendez. Are you here, Jen? Uh, si Sarah. Are you here, Sarah? Okay. Sean Wesley. Are you here, Sean?
Nandito po, sir.
Ayan, no? I need your insights, bro. No? What do you think is the complicated part for this circuit?
Yung right side po, sir.
Eh, sorry, ano?
Right side.
Ito, this one, right side ba?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Sige, si Vernon.
Sir, yung ano po, yung sa primary resistance and yung reactance din po. Tsaka din po yung sa yung parallel combinations po ng EXO and RO po. Parang complicated pa po siya.
Yes, correct. No, this part no, is really complicated, guys. No? So since the circuit is technically a series parallel series no circuit, no, this core, no, yung core na yan, no, that's the complicated part of the circuit. So that's why, as you can see, this is the exact equivalent value of the circuit. Now, we will be having, no, the approximate value of the approximate circuit, no, equivalent circuit, no, of the transformer. So we will just transfer, no, yung core doon sa unahan, no, sa unahan. So technically, this is just a parallel series circuit. So as you can see, the primary parameters here, we just transfer it beside to the parameters of the secondary. No, ayun, no. So technically, guys, way back, engineers solve this one, solve this, what do you call this? The output, the output voltage using the exact. Then it's kind of solving the series parallel series circuit. No, it's really complicated. So that's why they use approximate. They think another what they call this view of a circuit such that they came up with the approximate value. The idea is that if you solve for the output voltage, they don't have really a huge discrepancy to each other. But still, it's not really exact, but the error is really, really low, comparing to the original values of the output, from the exact equation. So that's why we call this approximate equivalent circuit diagram. So the word here is the approximate, Yun. Now, even though this circuit is kind of simplified, it's still complicated. What do you think is the complicated part for this circuit? I just want your ideas, guys. Ayan, si Danica.
Yung ano po, yung part ng RO, then yung extra zero po. Yung
Yes.
nakaparallel.
Yes, correct, even though this branch is in parallel, as you can see, it has a sub-branch that is also in parallel, ito. Actually, guys, the main idea is that the core part or the core branch for the circuit diagram is really complicated. So that's why in the next circuit diagram, we eliminate it totally, guys. We are just eliminating it, right? So as you can see, we have here the value of the RPXP or the primary impedances, the secondary impedances, and the voltage secondary. As you can see, if we plot this, guys, it's just kind of look like this. Diba? Tama ba? Nakuha niyo ba yung idea? And we can group this, these impedances into one. So we call it Z equivalent or the impedance equivalent circuit. So as you can see, guys, it's just like we have the source and we have the impedances and we have the load, So we can use our favorite method, which is the pair phase analysis. Ayan, So this is for the referring to the primary side, no? Ayan, no? Equivalent, transform equivalent. Actually, this is kind of approximate equivalent circuit diagram where IN is neglected, no? So, the idea is that this is the simplified version, no? For the primary. But since we don't have the core anymore, di ba? We can transfer out, no, or we can transfer all of the parameters into secondary. So we can have another simplified version of the circuit, no. So if we transfer this, no, to the secondary, no. So technically, guys, if we complete, no, the drawing, no, if we draw completely the drawing, we still have here, no, the coils, no, meron pa tayong coils diyan, and we have here the secondary circuit. Since we don't have the core anymore, we can transfer these parameters into the secondary. So that's why we can have this transformer equivalent circuit diagram referred, no, to secondary. Alright? No? So yun yung ganun yung nangyari doon. So with this simplification, guys, as you can see, comparing with this first circuit and the second circuit, as you can see, this is the primary, guys. We're talking about the primary here. So all of the parameters for the primary, they don't have constant A. Diba? Can you see the pattern? So for the secondary, they have constant A, no? Yung turns ratio. Alright? So if we do refer, no, the values to the secondary, then the secondary parameters don't have A's anymore. But, no, the primary parameters have A in it. That does have A, no? So hindi na siya naka-multiply, guys, no, for the resistances and the primary, we divide it. And also for the primary voltage. Do you have any questions with that? No. So that is the simplification of the circuit, no, circuit diagram, no. Since, guys, this is just an introduction, no, we will be just using the basic, the basic circuits, no. So this one, no, we will use this one, no, referred to the primary, no, we will use this one and referred to the secondary. I will not give you course anymore. Yung mga drawings with course, no. So I will not do that, no, anymore, because if we included the core, of course, since the reporter mentioned earlier, no, core has hysteresis and eddy current losses, no. So we need to incorporate those losses into our computation. So just to simplify things, no, we are just using this, refer to secondary and refer to primary. That's it, no. Do you have any questions for the diagrams? Ayun. So as you can see, guys, no, it's really complicated, no, and I really want to trim down, no, your exam in such that you can focus, no, on each topic. So maybe I will just give you 3 exams, then for exam will be topic 1 and topic 2. No, it's just like it's not really economical, no, for your brain, no, to do, no, topic 1 to 3 for the single exam. Ayan, no. So this is just like the important conversions. I think you just tackled it, no, in your wait, no, I will just change my encoder. You tackled it in your electromagnetics, no. So we have the Weber and the Maxwells, no, and the Tesla and the Gauss, no. So Weber, these are the SI, no, and the Tesla, no, this is also an SI unit, no. So for the Maxwells, we call them CGS units. Centimeter gram, second, I think, units. So I really hate these units, guys, because as you can see, they are not really standard, comparing to the Weber and Tesla. But as you can see, when I solve, some of the problems, still they are using CGS units. So I really want you guys to familiarize, for the value of the CGS unit and its conversion, to the actual SI units. So first we have the magnetic flux, or the symbol phi. So 1 Weber is equal to 10 raised to 8 Maxwells. I think we discussed it, to the last with regards to the last topic, Or some of the books they call it lines. Yan. Maxwell's or lines. For the magnetic flux density, we have the Tesla, the Tesla. The Tesla, technically this is Weber per square meter. That is the Tesla, So in this case, we have here the CGS units, which is the Gausses. So Gausses is a unit of magnetic flux density, but still you need to convert it to Tesla. So this is the conversion. Do you understand, guys? Did I explain it clearly? All right. I want you guys to check or to absorb those conversions. So those conversions are really important. Now I will give you some examples. So as you can see, guys, for the alternator, we have the E. Technically, they have the same formula for E. It's just that we add KP and KD, diba? If you remember, because since they are came from the basic principle of the Faraday's law, since of course they will have the same formulas itself. They have different characteristics because alternator is moving. It has moving parts. It's not really 100%. It's stationary because comparing to the transformer. So that's why we add these constances. All right. But at the end of the day, they are just very similar. Very similar to each other. I want you guys to read this problem. Si Adele Deacon.
Sir, rinig po ba?
Oo.
The maximum flux density in the core of a 3000 over 240 volts, 50 hertz distribution transformer is 1.25 T. If the voltage induced per turn is 8 volts, determine the cross-sectional of the core in centimeter squared.
All right, So we're looking with the core, or the cross-sectional area of the core, nung transformer. Now, let's do the basic formula here, We're looking with the area, guys, the area itself. And we can solve for the area by using the flux density formula, which is this one. Are you familiar with this one, di ba? Tinanong ko kayo if you're familiar. No, we are now introducing a new unit here, which is the flux density. Di ba? Kung mapapansin nyo kasi in physics, guys, density is equal to mass over volume. So don't get confused with that, di ba? That is the density. So as you can see, mass over volume, the denominator there is not really an area but volume. So m cube yung unit ng density. All right? In this case kasi, for the flux density here, since we are talking for the area targeted by the magnetic flux, we are just using area, not volume. So the formula will be flux density over area. All right? Flux density over area. Don't get confused with the density formula for physics. So this is only area. Given that solving for the area, we have the flux over flux density. So as you can see, this flux, this is the Weber. This flux density, this is the Tesla. Right? So for the Tesla kasi, we have the value of 1.25. So we're done with the value of the Tesla. Now we need to find the value of the Weber. We can get the value of the flux or Weber by using this formula, yung 4.44 FON. As you can see, 4.44 is derived from 2 pi divided by square root of 2. So technically, that's the derivation for that one. And as you can see, how to get the flux, we need to get the frequency. So the frequency we have is 50 hertz. The turns we have, so we don't have still the turns. So as you can see, guys, we have here the voltage induced per turn is 8 volts. So meaning 1 turn for the coil is equal to 8 volts induced voltage. So we can say that per 1 turn, we have 8 volts. Diba? Then we will multiply, as you can see guys, we have here two value of voltages. So don't get confused with that, ha? Since as you can see, the core is in the primary side where when we draw the actual circuit diagram, right? 'Di ba? Kung mapapansin niyo, the core is in the first or the first part no, of the circuit. So that is the core is really referring to the primary side. So that's why we are using 3,000 instead of 240. I hope that is clear, ah. Baka kasi mamaya yung iba gamitin 240 yon. That's the idea. If we multiply that, then we can get, no, we can cancel out the voltages and we can get the 375 turns. With that, guys, flux is equal to E, which is the 3,000 all over 4.44 multiplied by frequency. If the frequency is not given, no, we are using 60 hertz, right? So NP, no, or the turns is 375. So we can get this value of milliweber. With that, we can substitute it to the original formula, which is the flux divided by flux density. We can have the area. So we have 36.03 milli. So this is the prefix here, divided by 1.25. And we can get a 28.82 milli square meter. Do you have any questions with that? Now, in this case kasi, we are looking for the value of centimeter square. So we need to transform the values, no, of millimeter m square, no, to cm square. So we have the 100, 1 cm all over 1 meter. So technically, this is just basic knowledge in terms of length, di ba? So we need to square that just to cancel out the m square, and at the end of the day, we can get this value, no, of centimeter square. Do you have any questions with that, guys? Am I clear? Ayun, no. We're really tight with time, guys, no, because I have a meeting, no, around 9 p.m. So that's why. But I hope no, you understand that, okay? If you do have any questions, di ba, you can utilize our GC, no, for your follow-up questions. Let's go to the next problem. They're just really similar, no, to each other, no. But the idea is that we have the given of kilogauges, no. So these are the CGS units, kilogauges. And in terms of the solutions, guys, they are just very similar. But here, I just do a conversion, no. So for the 11 kilogauges, I just transform it to Tesla. So we don't have really a magic for that. No? We are just using the conversion there. So we can have the 1.1 Tesla here. Still, no, we have here the inches squares. So these are the English units. I just transform it to m square. But the idea is that for the formula, for the beta, I just use the flux density formula. I just use the induced EMF formula. And I can get this value. So technically, they are just really the same. I've just added conversions. So that's why, so that's you can see on how to convert CGS units to the actual SI units. Do you have any questions with that? Yun lang naman, guys, no. It's kind of really easy. I'm not really spoon feeding you guys anymore, no. So 20 square units, square inches. So this is English. Kilogauss is CGS. Before you plug that to the formulas, convert them first. No? So that's the idea. Now, here, I will discuss this in depth. But first, I will need you to read this problem. Belo. Si Belo ba nandito?
Dito po, sir.
Belo, no, I have a problem with your participation points, bro. No? I think I've called you 5 times, and for that 5 times, no, you did not respond, bro. What happened, no? Anong nangyari sa'yo, bro?
Nung mga nakaraan po sir, hindi po ako nakakapasok eh.
I see, okay.
Ah,
Bawi ka, no? Just read
Apo.
the question.
A 10 kVA and 2300 over 230 volts, 60 hertz, three-phase transformer has an impedance Z sub P equals 3.96 plus J 15.8 ohms and Z sub S equals 0.0396 plus 0.158 ohm. The transformer delivers 10 kVA at 0. PF lagging to a load at secondary. Find the primary applied line-to-line voltage in volts to maintain 230 volts across the load. Neglect the no-load current.
Alright, I hope you can read, no, the my solutions, guys, no. I've used pencil for this for this part, no. I will just zoom in, no. I will just zoom in. Now, in this case, guys, as you can see for the problem here, we need to find the primary applied line-to-line voltage, no. And with that, guys, no, since we do have two circuit for that, we have the referred to the primary and referred to the secondary. For the solution, you can use either of the two. No, so for this first example, I will just use the referred to the primary side. All right, so this is the primary side. So as you can see, this is just like a source. Then we have the impedances, diba, at the line. Then we have the load voltages. We will use PPA for this one, and since we are using PPA, we just need to convert the parameters into per phase, no, per phase values, no. So we are not really using lines here anymore, but per phase values. I will give you an example. But since first, no, first I will just get the pointer, no. Ayan, no. We will do KVL first, no. So technically, the VP here, no, is the total voltage. So that is equal to the voltage drop at the impedances plus the voltage across the load. So if we put that into the equation, we can have VP equals IP, meaning the current at the primary, multiplied by the impedances, including the A square, plus AVS. Is that clear? Do you have any questions with that? Now we will just plug, no, the parameters in its per phase values. So let's start, no. Since we are looking for the value of BP here, we need to define the parameters first, no, one by one. So first the IP, no. We can get the IP with our favorite formula, S equals square root of 3 VLIL. So I forgot to add L here. So this is VLIL. Now, this is S is equal to square root of 3 VLIL. Since if the connection is not really given, just like I've told you, no, for the past meetings, we assume Y. And when I solved these kind of problems, guys, way back, no, when I was in college, then just like you guys, no, it is really always in Y connection. I really don't know why they are using Y connection for this kind of circuit, but they always assume Y, you know, for most of the time. You know. In this case, we assume the connection is Y, you know, unless otherwise stated. So since we are doing S equals square root of 3 VLIL, then we will use line parameters here, no? And since we are using IP, we are looking for the value of IP here. Since we have two kinds of voltage, which is the primary and secondary, di ba? We are using the primary values of the voltage. Is that clear, guys? All right, no? So 10,000 equals square root of 3 multiplied by 2,300 IP. No? And IP, we can get the value of 2.51. But as you can see, guys, this equation is vectors. So we are talking about vectors here. So we need to vectorize IP, no? And we need to add angle, no? So we it's not really, since we are talking about vector here, the IP must be vectorized too, since from that we need to add angle, no? So negative are cosine 0.85. So where do we get that 0.85? We get that with the 0.85 lagging power factor. Doon mo siya nakuha. Then simplifying that, I have here the IP value. And as you can see here, I have the arrow, no? Arrow here. I just use my calculator and store the values into variable x. Ayun, no? I just teaching you guys, no, on how to solve this kind of problem, since we are talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parameters here. It is easier for us to utilize our calculator, no, and use store functions, no. Now, we have here the IP, no. For the ZP kasi, it is given. We don't need to solve it. We don't need to solve for it anymore. Alright? Ayan, yun. Now for the A values. The A is really easy. It's just that the ratio, no, the turns ratio. So technically, the turns ratio here is 2,300 divided by 230. So that is the turns ratio. So that is 10. So if the turns ratio is a whole number, then we have a step down transformer. All right. So if we have a turns ratio of a decimal number, we are talking about a step up transformer. We are referring to a step up transformer. Then since the variable a here is equal to 10, I've just stored it to the variable a2. So they are both a. So the VS here, so technically the VS here is our reference. No? When we talk about the reference here, this is the angle 0. No? We refer to this vector as a reference vector, which is the angle is 0. No? Always naman yun, guys. Always naman yun. Even though for the past few topics, di ba, I just told you, no, that the load is always reference. No? And as you can see, guys, the output must be 230 volts. No? So don't get confused with that. Since this is the 2,300 is the E primary, the 230 volts is the E secondary, diba? Because they are the turns. But at the end of the day, we need to get the value, no, for the output, no, with the value of 230 volts. No? So that is 230 volts divided by square root of 3, di ba? Because this 230 volts is line value, no? So we need to convert that to phase value, no? So we need to add square root of 3 at the denominator. Since, as you can see, we have the ZP. I just stored the ZP to the variable C in your calculator. No, I just store ZS, no, to the variable D, no, and from that I do have a values, no, in my calculator, no, and I will just rewrite, no, the variable, no, in my calculator in this kind of this one, no. So as you can see, the X here is the IP, no. Ito yung IP, remember? So this is the IP. The ZP here is the C. Yung A square is the A, technically. The ZS is the D. And the VS is the B, no? When I put that in your calculator, you just need to press, no, the variables and press equal, and that's it, no? So technically, storing values, no, in your calculator is really efficient, no? It's really time efficient. Given that the board exam is really you have just limited time, no, per problems, no. So storing values, no, is really important, no, in terms of the calculator technique, no. So it's really part of a it's really a part of a calculator technique, guys, no. So learn to store values, right? So as you can see, if you have so many parameters just like this one, it's better to use store function. If you don't use store function, chances are, 'di ba, you will made a mistake typing the values in your calculator. Ganun lang siya. With that, we can solve for the value of BP. Since BP, guys, is just like, as you can see, we transform all the values into per phase values. So we can get this as a per phase values then. For us to get the line values, we need to multiply it by square root of 3. Then this is the answer. Alright, no? So as you can see, we have the 4 voltages. The BP, which is the 2403 volts, diba? The EP, which is the 2300, diba? And the ES, which is the 2300, and the VS is equal to 2300. Sorry, 2300, 230. Yan. So as you can see, the turns, guys, the turns ratio said that if we use 2300 volts, we can transform it to 230 volts. But as you can see, we use 240 volts, 2400 volts instead. Why? Because we have voltage drop at the coils. So that's really the answer from that. So we have voltage drop at the coils. So as you can see, we cannot do exactly 2300, but instead we need 2403 voltage at the input just to get the value of the 2000, to get the value of the 230 volts at the output. Is that clear? Okay. Ayun, so that's why, guys, I'm just really trimming down. I will not include the the all the efficiency anymore, 'di ba? The voltage regulation anymore. But still, I will include the voltage regulation for the alternator because the alternator is really the role of the alternator is to supply, to supply voltages, and to compute the voltage regulation is really important, for the alternator. So for transformer, it's just that we need to compute the induced voltage and this simple circuit. So, ganun lang siya. Now, this number 3 problem, I will call, just read the problem. Abayon.
Hello po.
Yeah, Abayon.
Um, at a 10 kVA, 2400 over 240 volts, 60 hertz three-phase transformer has primary impedance of 5.2 plus J 12.5 ohms and secondary impedance of 0.06 plus J 0.12 ohm. When operating at rated primary voltage and frequency, the transformer delivers rated current to its load at 0.8 power factor lagging. Find the load voltage in volts, neglect the no load current.
Alright, Instead, guys, in this case naman, we are looking for the value of the voltage at the load. So for this specific problem, guys, I will use naman yung refer to secondary. So I can show you on how to solve the values referred to the secondary. But at the end of the day, you can either choose for the computation if you either use the circuit to refer to the primary or the circuit refer to the secondary. Maybe for the exam, I will just explicitly state what kind of circuit you will use for the specific problem na lang para di na kayo magtanong. So for the uniformity na rin nung class. So in this case, guys, since we are looking here a circuit with regards to the secondary, first we will do KVL first. So the voltage at the source is equal to the voltage drop, di ba? At the impedance plus voltage drop at the load. So we will be starting at the, as you can see guys, you can see these formulas in your book, but I do not really recommend to memorize them. My technique is that I need to visualize or to understand what really is the circuit, no, what parameter compose, no, the circuit are, no. So technically I really need to visualize what is really the circuit. From there I will just add the parameters. After I add the parameters, I will just equate the equation. 'Di ba? Tapos na ba kayo sa DC guys right now? DC machines? Tapos na ba kayo sa DC machines? Or you are just taking it right now? So, wala pa ba kayong DC guys? DC machines?
Ongoing.
Ongoing, no? As you can see guys, for the DC machines, you have so many formulas, di ba? The formulas is really different, no? And it is it really depends, no, on what kind of circuit you have. For example, you have shunt generator, di ba? You have series generator, di ba? Shunt motor, di ba? Series motor, di ba? It really depends of what kind of connection you have. So that's why we need to memorize all those circuit diagrams, no? So circuit diagrams are really important. So with that, after that, we get the value, no, the equation by using KVL. First, here we are using IS naman, no, because we are referring to the secondary. And with that, we can solve for the value of IS by using this formula, VLIL again, diba? So 10,000 is equal to square root of 3. So as you can see here, guys, since we are referring to the secondary, we are using the value of 240 volts, no, at the secondary. So that's why we have 240 here. We are not using 2,400 anymore, di ba? So in this case, we will have a value of IS which is 24 ampere. Now, we need to vectorize it again because all of the parameters, no, parameters at the KVL, no, equation are all vectors, no. So we will add negative r cosine 0.8. Where do we get that 0.8? We get that from the power factor, lagging. So it is lagging, no, that is really negative, guys. And I get this value and store it to x again. Yun. Now, since we have the value of the ZP and the ZS, we just need to get the value of the turns ratio. So the turns ratio here is 10. That is 2,400 divided by 240. Okay? Do you have any questions with that? All right, no. Now, again, the VS here, no, so it's kind of sorry pala. We need to get the values for the VS. So that's why we need to identify what is the VP here. No? So the VP here, since we don't have a value for the specific what they call this input value of the voltage, we will gonna use 2,400, no, as a default. Remember that, guys, if the problem doesn't state, no, the input voltage for this specific transformer, then we will use the turns or the turns voltage, no, of the primary, no, as a default. So that's why we have here this one, 2,400. All over square root of 3. Bakit tayo naglagay ng square root of 3? Because we are transforming the voltage in its phase form, no? So VP, that is 2,400 all over square root of 3. Since we have A at the denominator, we will be having 10 at the denominator also. Diba? And as you can see, I'm not really using store function here, and I have here these long values of equation. So this is the disadvantages if you are not using the store function of your calculator. No. Way back kasi guys the Quizzers pool guys, it's really important for us to use the store function of the calculator. So that's why all of my some of my solutions I use store and just to share with you guys it's really time efficient if you're using your calculator the store function of your calculator. Now, with that, we have the IS, di ba? And we have the ZP divided by A square, and we have here the ZS. Plus VS all over square root of 3, since we are talking about VS here, and we need to convert that to per phase values, then that's the whole equation for that one, no? Again, after that, we need to simplify. We need to combine this equation here, these terms, to get these terms, bro. No, this term. We will get this term, and we need to simplify it to 2,400 divided by square root of 3 divided by 10, so we can get 80 square root of 3. So remember in advanced math from your prof attorney, di ba? So we will be using the Pythagorean theorem, so which is just like this one, So r theta equals, a plus jb. So technically, this is the polar form and the rectangular form of the complex number. From there, we can say that r square is equal to a square plus b square. Diba? Now, in this case, we can get the 80 square root of 3. We can square that. And we need to combine all of the real parts of the complex number. So the real part here is this 5.69. So this is the real part plus the BS all over square root of 3. So this is the real part. Now, if we combine that, then we will use a square to plug it to the Pythagorean theorem form. So that is 5.69 plus Vs all over square root of 3 is squared. Plus the imaginary side, which is the b, we need to get the value of a square also. So that is 3.09 square. Do you have any questions with that? After that simplification, guys, you will get two values of your Vs. Since we are talking about quadratic equation here, but since we are referring to the output voltage here, so as you can see, the output voltage must be near the values of 240 volts, So that must be the value of the output voltage, near value, So with that simplification, we can get the value of Vs of 230.08 volts. Yun. So ganun siya, So at the end of the day, guys, if you input 2,400 volts into this transformer, the output will be 230 volts, So ganun lang siya. Do you have any questions with that? Alright, I think that is the last problem for my presentation, So these are your assignment, guys. Ayun, Just to simplify things, guys, I think we need to drop the power system and the induction motor for the exam. And you will just need to focus on for the first topic up to this topic for the first exam. But it is still for the presentation of the reporters, we still need to let them to present their presentation with regards to the induction motor. Just as you can see the how to convert the induction motor into its what they call this, a specific diagram or circuit diagram. Do you have any questions, guys? I think I mean you're really tired, no, because you went, no, to the MOA or the convention. So I think some of you guys are hungry. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, guys. Utilize our GC, di ba? So yun lang naman yun. If you don't have no any questions, di ba? I can dismiss the class na, no. So thank you for attending, right? So good night, no, good night.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Good night.